Hey guys, it's me, Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut. Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, whatever it is, to all of my lovely patrons. And I don't know, I'm assuming actually I found out that a decent amount of patrons aren't able to watch this stuff live. So hopefully you guys are able to catch us later on. If you're watching a replay, hi, and definitely just to start things off, guys. As always, huge thanks to you guys. I'm really excited. I'm working really hard on getting stuff all prepped and ready to go for DM1, and it's gonna be nuts. Like, I'm really, really excited. It's been a lot of work just to kind of make sure everything is good to go. I don't know if you guys remember, the last time I tried doing a legit live stream was at Falcon Heavy, and that was a mess. That was potato quality city. So, yeah. So I have a new solution totally figured out. Half of it actually that last for Falcon Heavy was actually my laptop. I realized way later on that I had way too high of a bit rate that the laptop couldn't actually handle. So now I've got a new laptop since last year. I have a direct line access that I'm paying a lot of money. It's a business line. It's an entrepreneur or whatever. It's business enterprise. There we go. Enterprise class dedicated line going straight to my laptop. So we're gonna just knock it out of the park on this one. I'm gonna bring you guys a really, really high quality, really high quality live stream. It should be this quality, but only 3 miles away or 5 kilometers away from DM1, which should be freaking awesome. Let's see here. Oh, definitely. Seth wants to know. Okay, so let me just get up. Start going to your. That's why I'm not gonna just sit here and talk just on my own. I can do that anytime, and I feel like we do that more when I'm doing launch coverage. So this is my time to really answer your guys' questions like directly, because you guys are the reason that I'm able to go down to Florida, and like, I hope you guys really enjoyed that last video because I spent way too much time on that, but I really want to up the quality, and the reason that I'm able to invest more time and effort into the quality of that video is literally thanks to patron supporters. So thank you guys again. Like, if you enjoy that higher quality, it's worth it to me to put out fewer. Like, but the Patreon support has been so encouraging that I want to be able to put out fewer but higher quality videos than trying to shove in like a video a week or something that's of subpar quality. And you guys are helping me be able to step up that game, and I think that's important. I'd rather take my time, make a really high quality video, and that is thanks to you guys. So I hope that that's what you guys want. Commanders will be talking more about that a little bit, about like the balance of quality over quantity, and commanders, I consider them even like more of a say in the videos because they financially are invested more. So I want them to feel like they have ownership over that as well. So we're also gonna be talking about other things in the commanders exclusive Patreon, which is after this. So someone asked if I'm doing a meetup in Florida. Sorry, where was that? I will definitely do a European meetup next time I'm over there. Falcon Heavy shirts will definitely be in before the next Falcon Heavy launch for sure. Oh, Kevin doesn't ask if I'd ever do a meetup in Florida. He asked if I'd ever move to Florida. No plans to move to Florida, but this year is going to be pushing me to the limits because I'll probably be down there like 6 or 7 times for different launches. There's a lot of activity going on at the Cape this year, so it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. I struggle with that because the quality of life that I have here at home in Iowa is just fantastic. My wife has an awesome job, and she's can't take that job down to Florida. She is developing the downtown district of our hometown here in Iowa, and she works her butt off. She works 50, 60 hours a week as well, literally making huge changes to our actual city. So you can't do that from anywhere else. So as a family, we're not going to be moving down to Florida anytime soon at all. But potentially, if the development slow down, which it is, it's like the projects are. There's only a few more big things on the table for that project, at least in this town, and potentially, who knows if Everyday Astronaut becomes like a huge, thing where it's like I have to be at every launch type of situation or something, then we'll reevaluate this about every 3 months or so, I feel like. But we have no plans to move to Florida. It's also hard. We have a really, really good friendship group here. I have friends that I've been friends with here that we hang out with like every weekend still, that we've all been friends for 20, 30 years already. Like, I've known some of these people since like early grade school. So it's really hard to consider moving away from the tight knit community we have. Yeah. So, Kevin, Kevin says, if I'd ever moved to Florida full time, you have a sofa I could sleep on. Yeah. It's really hard. We have like, we're super blessed here. So we live in Cedar Falls, Iowa, for those of you that don't know. And it's like northeast Iowa. It's a small college town. There's about 50,000 people that live here or whatever. And there's about 100,000 in the adjoining community of Waterloo, Iowa. And together, so 150 kind of metropolitan area. So not very big. And like, but we have a good quality of life because we have like, our house is really inexpensive compared to anywhere else in the United States. And it's a nice house, especially for the money compared to the national average in the US. We also have things like gigabit internet, like I get it for free because the municipality that we have internet through, actually, they're going to start sending us 10 gig, which is nuts. Yeah, it's a locally owned utility company. Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, guys, I in Discord, I said at the beginning there, try to keep it in YouTube just so that all YouTube people see what we're talking about. So if you guys can, if you're on Discord right now, just keep it to YouTube just so it's easy for me to only look at that, and everyone then knows like who's where and what and why. Like everyone can read each other's comments. Yeah, and Sujo1 asks what my wife does. So she does property development. Like they have built 4 large residential and commercial like multi-use buildings in our downtown district. And our downtown district's small, so like that's a big change in our community. They also recently purchased the most historic hotel like west of the Mississippi. It's actually the longest operating hotel in the United States, continually operating, which is crazy. It's a really historic, beautiful hotel, and they're slowly caressing that thing into the life it deserves. So she's got her hand, and then they're building another big development. Like she's like the mover and shaker and does all that. We're also opening a restaurant and a bar all this year. So if you guys ever wonder what I do, like, there's a lot. And like when I'm done with, like, I normally work until dinner time. We get together and chat and catch up on our days. And then oftentimes like we both like will work on each other's projects, or like I'll sit there and help her with bar stuff if that's what's needed, you know, as she's prepping for that, or she'll sit and help me with like a script. So it's just kind of like panic mode there. Let's see here. Yes, 10 gig is nuts. And Ben Steinman, was in our chat down here in Discord, but Ben Steinman would know all about that. He is my networking / drone pilot / like he helps with a lot of the back end on the website stuff. He literally is setting up like fiber internet throughout like all of Iowa. He's an absolute wizard. So he would know, he would know all about our setup, but we do have 10 gig going on. Let's see. Again, if you're in Discord, please just go up to the YouTube chat. It'll make it a lot easier. I don't have the YouTube chat hidden. If you're mobile, you have to click like a chat button, I think. Fest in Cedar Falls, asks Evan. I need to do like a Cedar Falls meetup sometime. I'll find a good reason to do that. I think I haven't done a Midwest meetup yet. Actually, I did last year. I take that back. I did when Spacing Out came out, that show that I did on Facebook Watch. When we did that, I did a meetup there, and I invited patrons and fans to come. That's the only time. But that was last May or June, so it's been almost a year. I'll for sure be doing a DM1 meetup down in Florida. I think I'll do it the day, like the evening before, so Friday night. So 5 days from now, plan on there being a DM1 meetup. And I'll also be doing a meetup / I think I'm going to try to doing a pop-up shop in LA before Yuri's night. So that's going to be, I think that's on the 6th or the 13th. I think it's the 6th. I think Yuri's night LA is before Yuri's night Florida. I'll be doing a pop-up shop where I'm actually going to sell stuff in person. Hopefully. Yeah. Let's see here. Faster Wi-Fi than NASA would be fun, I guess. Yeah. Do I have any details on when Falcon Heavy ships or shirts will be shipping? They're going into production right now. They'll probably be shipping already this week. So they'll ship out this week, which means if you're in the US, you'll probably get it end of this week or the next, like mid next week would be my guess. I'll double check on the shop. Internationally, I think it takes 10 days to 2 weeks depending on where you live. Yeah. Let's see here. Faster at Florida meetup. Are there adequate superchargers to get there from Missouri? To get to Iowa? So depends. If you have anything less, then so Evan, depending, say, are you in St. Louis or are you in Kansas City? If that's too private, like, let me know. But if you're going up Avenue of the Saints, which is like 218 / I think it just turns into 18, or 380 and then turns into 218, that stretch from Iowa City, like Iowa City, Coralville, down to St. Louis Supercharger is 244 miles. So if you don't have like a 90D, 100D, or a long range Model 3, and you have to have good enough weather conditions to actually make that stretch. Other than that, no problem. No problem. Yeah, yep, Comrade is right. Yeah, where is the cat? I don't know. She ran away. I would love to show you Bella. She's very fat. If you guys need to see, if you want weird, like, behind the scenes stuff of my life, sometimes I occasionally post pictures of my fat cat. I don't tell anyone about this, so you guys, under the name Fat Kiki, and that is Keekee, Fat Kiki on Instagram. She has 13 followers, mostly just friends, and she's very fat. So if you want weird, like a weird look at my life, Evan, Model 3 long range and Springfield, you'd go through Kansas City, then you'll have no problem, Evan. That route's very well covered. Yeah, if you go through Kansas City, you're perfectly fine. So let's see. Artie wants to know, should you go to Yuri's Night from Massachusetts? It is hassle. It is money. And the Florida one's getting pretty cool. LA is still a little bit more premier. Like, if you want, like, a really legit party experience where you're like, holy, this is, like, packed full of people, tons of fun. Like, they sell out that one. And, like, it's young and cool, and people are having fun. There's good music, good, like, different bar venues, too. Like, brewers will come in with different beers and stuff. It's cool because it's all, like, science-based. Like, there's one beer company that's working on brewing hops in space. There's another that Wavelength Brewing in Vista, California does, like, it's only a science bar. So, like, they have TVs up and they're just constantly just showing, like, launches and stuff. And they hold launch parties and stuff. I love that place. I love their beer. So if you want, like, more of that experience, I think right now LA is still better. But this was only the second year for Florida. So Florida might step up the game. It's definitely worth checking out. And Ben wants to know, Ben Kaylau, who, by the way, Ben is the one that designed the Falcorn Heavy shirt. So everyone say thank you to Ben if you place that order. That's thanks to Ben. He did a phenomenal job. What, if anything, does SpaceX do for press and photographers in days before launch? Presentations, behind-the-scenes tours, etc. So when SpaceX does something, it is different than when it's a SpaceX and NASA mission. So here's how this will work. The press will get the chance to get badged in relatively early, like 2 days in advance you can badge in, and then, like, the last opportunity is normally about 16 hours before the launch or so. That's just a total rough guess. Depends on time of day and stuff. But then you get badged in. If it's a NASA mission, lots of times they have a press conference, like a pre-launch press conference that press is allowed to go to. They often do have, like, a press tour. NASA will let you do press tours, and they typically want to show off some part of SLS or Orion, or like the mobile launch platform, upgrades to the VAB. They oftentimes tout that type of stuff. Let's see. Yeah, so that's kind of what they do. SpaceX typically doesn't do. We do. Okay, so then we also get to go out to the pad itself to set up pad cameras, and that's normally pretty rushed. They don't, like, let you, like, walk around. You can't really go beyond 20 feet of the bus or whatever. 6 meters away from the bus. And they keep you pretty tight reins on you during that process because it is an active launch site. They don't want people wandering off. So, yeah, so I'll be for sure doing some video stuff at the pad. I'll be doing the live stream from the press site, which is the same vantage point basically as where I was for Falcon Heavy. But yeah. Oh, that's cool, Mike. You guys are working on producing kegs that also tap beer in space. Maybe fun to recommend our kegs. Hey, man. Yeah. Sounds good. Seth wants to know if you don't have a wide angle lens for my camera, just an 18 to 55, will I be able to get a good streak shot? I'm glad you asked, because let me show you something, actually. This is perfect. This is going to be... I happen to have this pulled up, and I didn't even mean to, but this is Flight Club. You guys have seen me use this stuff all the time. Which mission is this? Telstar. Okay, let's find... Here's CRS-16. Actually, let's go to the DM1. He has a DM1 already here. Flight Club, Photography Toolkit. Oh, yeah, here we go. Create simulations. We can go to DM1. We can literally put in... Let's do an example. Maps.google. I hope you guys don't mind me doing this. I feel like I kind of want to do this for fun. Max Brewer Bridge, Memorial Parkway. Here we go. This is a common place to see a launch. We're just going to choose these coordinates here. And I'm going to plug these in to the toolkit here for Flight Club. So I just found that we're just going to pretend that this is about where you want to be. We're going to go ahead and run this simulation. This is the DM1 mission on flightclub.io. We're running that simulation. This will pull up its trajectory. And then, well, check this out. Then we can go to Photography Toolkit, I think. Wait a minute. What happened here? Hold on. Maybe I have to be signed back in or something. Let me just in case there's any private information here, let me log in with Patreon. Allow, please. That's weird. I am a patron of his, so let me make sure I have him like logged into the right account. 1 second here. Sorry, this is probably very, very fun. Wait, it's not showing me as a patron to his. That's not fair. I know I am. I love that it's called Flight Club. That's really weird. I know for a fact I've been his patron for a long time, so that's... Oh, weird. Yeah, it even shows that I like have previously... Why would that... That's weird. All right. Anyway, maybe something happened. Let me try refreshing this. I am still trying to make sure. Use the toolkit. Here we go. Okay, sorry. So flightclub.io. And we are going to use the photographer toolkit. Dang it. And let me see if I remember how to do this. I've done this before. Okay, then we can go. I might have to learn how to do this quick because I may have totally forgotten how to do this all together. Flight Club. Let's just watch the tutorial. Okay, 3D visualization. Yes, that's where we were. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I'll talk about the upgrades that I did here to the studio in a second after we do this. Oh, there it is. That's right. There's that photography button. Now, where was that one? Welcome to my life. I'm actually terribly like scatterbrained at all times. Okay, here we go. Photography toolkit. Okay, camera location. Elevation will be, it'll be probably 10 meters. You're on a bridge. And you're going to be using like a crop, a Canon crop, like APS-C crop. Let's just go ahead and look at 18 millimeters and save. Check this out. Here's what an 18 millimeter lens will look like from Max Brewer Bridge. So it's not going to be quite wide enough to really, well, we could go, hang on, let's go horizontal. How awesome is this? This is insane, guys. Portrait. You can do this. That's pretty great. You really have to nail this, though. You really have to nail this. I would consider, if you can find something slightly wider than an 18, renting one if you want to try getting a good one. Look at how big of a difference a slightly wider angle lens will get you. Let's just go even like 14's a really common, normally for full frame. But look at that. That's going to get you a lot more leg room, I guess, so to speak, in this. And notice how long this is. So this would be about 2.5 minutes into flight is this portion right here. So that gives you a good sense. I actually really want this shot. Can you imagine getting the landing shot, the landing streak in here? I want to see what it would take to actually get this whole thing. I'm going to go full frame and 14 mil and just take a look. Whoa, that's way easier. Just switch cameras. Just go buy a $1,500 setup. Terrible advice from Tim Dodd, the everyday astronaut. I have a 20 millimeter 1.4. That would probably be, oh, that would be so epic. But I'm gonna be at the press site. But that would be an awesome shot. You have a wide angle adapter you can put on the front. Seth, I would not recommend that. That ends up just looking so muddy. Oh, Milos DeWitt wants to know how you get access to the subreddit and Discord. Milos, just make sure as long as you're in the right tier. So as long as you're a, what is it, commander, and the other thing, what is that? Flight mission specialist or whatever it is. That's $10 a month. You'll automatically just sign in when you do that to like link it to Discord. It'll automatically send you an invite and all that stuff, and you'll be dynamically linked to the Discord channel and given access. But to get the Reddit stuff, you have to find the comment. I try to do it like once every other month or something so I don't bug everybody. But we do have to manually put in your name for access to the subreddit. So you'll find a comment that is only sorted by people that are $5 a month and above. Just put your name in there. One of our mods or contributors, most of the time it's Allie Cat, who's always on top of it. So thank you, Allie. So she'll take care of, like, she'll add you to the subreddit. Yeah. Let's see. What about 10 crop? That's a good question. That's going to be very similar to that 14 we looked at earlier on full frame. But let's look at 10 crop here just for you guys. There you go. That's 10 crop. I think that's a pretty good use of the frame. Gives you a little bit of room to miss, because that's the, if you button it up perfectly, you really got to nail it. You definitely want some crop room, So, yeah. Oh, Kevin's bringing his 11 to 24. That's, oh, you've got an 11 to 24. I have that lens too. That's a nutty lens on full frame. That is like ridiculous. So absurd. I've thought about, I might sell that and just get like a 10 millimeter just to be really ridiculous. There's not Rokinon. Who makes that 10 millimeter? Like a Lautra or something. They make a 10 millimeter lens. Oh, let me talk. Oh, Dave, here we go. This is a decent question here. Dave, have you ever network connected your remote camera to pull shots back in semi-real time? If so, what did you use? No, remote cameras cannot be in any way wirelessly connected. There can be no RF or any kind of connection at all out to the pad. So we can't send it anything or update. You could program it if you're really smart. You could probably do like a jib that starts shooting and then tracks or something from up close. I have no idea though. Oh, an 8 to 16 would be plenty. 10 millimeter Nikkor, yes. Awesome. Dylan, what day? I'm getting in really late Thursday night, which gives me the day Friday to do all the setup and all the press stuff. So hopefully Friday night is when I'm going to do a quick little meetup. I'm trying to figure out, that one might be the Patreon exclusive, and then Saturday might be just the general public one, depending on, yeah, scrubs and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was that Leawa. Milos, I answered the access to subreddit Discord. The subreddit, you got to comment on Patreon. So patreon.com, blah, blah, blah. Find my post that says like, hey, give us your subreddit or your usernames for Reddit here. Discord, as long as you're a $10 a month member peer, you'll automatically get like the link to Discord and it automatically links and all this stuff. Sebas, what's this? I don't know. You can rent lens for evaluating during launches. Oh, I know. I rent gear all the time for launches. It's a bit of an issue, actually. Although I still have plenty of good gear. I have sold some of my photography stuff since I'm not doing that as a career anymore. You know, I don't need to have all of the suite of lenses that I had before. I had an insane. Yeah. Let's see. People were asking about. Do it, Seth. Do it. The difference between people that do YouTube or any kind of creative content and the people that don't are the people that never start in the first place. Like, what's it going to hurt? You know, at worst goes to worst, it's a fun hobby. But best case scenario, it turns into your career and then you become a genuine fake astronaut for a living. Although I have, let's talk about two things. Let me bring up people have been asking about the gear change. I have changed around a lot of stuff, especially that the last video that I did. I'm finally recording, instead of recording off of, I use a Blackmagic Studio Camera 4K here. That's what you guys are looking at. And that way I can just turn it on. I don't have to worry about like anything. It's just a rock solid, stable little camera on a tripod. But I had been going via like just a mini recording adapter thing and just recording it in OBS. So what you're seeing now is basically what I had been doing for videos when I'm sitting down. When I stand up, I used to use a Sony a7R II on a tripod, but that like every time I have to like set it up, change all the lighting around, change the microphones, like it's a 30-minute process basically. And I'm realizing like that's a dumb use of my time when personally I actually like this shot better where you see more of the room. I put a little bit wider angle lens on, so for crop I'm at 12 millimeter. This is micro four thirds, so 12 millimeters would be 24 millimeter full frame equivalent. I was at 28 millimeter full frame equivalent. So now I've got a 12 on there. I added a separate light here. I'm now recording from SDI into 4K, shooting ProRes onto what's called a Blackmagic Hyperdeck, and that allows me to record ProRes 4K off of this thing. So that's why the quality of that last video probably looked through the roof compared to the other ones. And then I just kind of like redid the whole scene in this room. So yeah, good. Yeah, the live stream quality of YouTube still appears to be an issue. Every YouTube video I watch that's live now is like compressed like you wouldn't believe. It's really disappointing. I've talked to my creative support team a couple times. It's ridiculous. That's interesting. Alley Cat says, can anyone see? No, I can't, Allie. You're not showing up in there. Let me just make sure, like, are there any moderators? Hang on. I'm really going to make sure real quick. Participants. Anyone that is a moderator, let's see. Who is a moderator right now? We've got, hey, John Ellis, would you mind double checking? I don't know how to do this because I don't have a clue. I don't do any moderation on YouTube. See if there's a way to find like who's been blocked and make sure that Alley Cat wasn't somehow blocked, because that's unusual. She's actually a YouTube mod, so that'd be really, really weird. Although, wait, she's not a mod in... Which channel are we on right now? I am in my actual YouTube channel, aren't I? I probably should have held this in my private one, to be honest. Not that it really matters. Interesting. Oh, well. Hopefully we can figure that out. Where did that window go, too? There it is. Milos wants to know when's the next live KSP live stream, Patreon or public. I don't know. Honestly, I still really do like KSP. I like it, but I have actually got a lot of enjoyment out of like that last video. I feel very proud of that. I feel like that's content that I've never seen on YouTube before. Like that quality of content on YouTube, I just don't think really exists outside of like large channels like Vsauce or something. Like I'm trying to really make it so the content is like unbelievably good. So people think it's like a whole team of people. I do kind of have a team of people, I think. But yeah, I really think it's important that the quality just stays as good as possible. And like I said, I'll be talking more about that with my commanders as well. What else is going to say? You missed streams. I know. I do need to do more streams. What were popping up earlier? Looks good. Thank you, AK Bear Food. Yeah, we'll see if Alley Cat ends up gaining access to the chat again. That is so weird. Make a BFR with 5-meter parts in KSP. I've done that a few times actually. There's probably, if you look back in my old Kerbal streams, I've done that. I feel like I've just done a lot of things in Kerbal. I kind of feel like there's the main thing here, and tell me if this is a bad idea. You guys love that stuff, and I like that stuff, but that does take a lot of time. For like, no matter what it is, 2 or 3 hours tied up in playing, which is fun. I get that. I will do that for you guys, definitely. But then, like, if I want to post a video that's Kerbal, I have to, like, cut it up and get it all ready, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff. If you saw the list, why don't I show you the list that I have upcoming? I'll just show you. I mean, there's an unbelievable amount of video ideas that, I mean, it's nuts. It's nutty. Let's see here. So I just feel like I have this, like, pressing, I really want to get these done. This one I actually shot. Why does SpaceX use parachutes for fairing recovery and not for booster recoveries? I have wanted to do that one for a long time. But this is my list of upcoming videos, and it's never ending. I can never catch up. I want to make all these. Each one of these to me is like, it feels good. It's like stress. It's like yeah, like relief off my shoulder, like stress off my shoulders or something, like a weight. And so I personally, just for like stress and everything, I want to start, chipping away at some of these big ones. Why does SpaceX use parachutes? That one I literally shot. I'm going to reshoot it because I shot it in like June. So the style, everything is super different. So I'm going to just reshoot that. Reshooting it's easy these days, especially with this now. I can literally sit down, read the script, and be done in like 30 minutes. And it's so much easier than it used to be. I don't know for sure if I'm going to does SpaceX fake their landings. But that is one, because I don't want it to be like a troll feeding the troll thing, but I do really want to use that. I do want to use that to talk about the video feed and why the video feed cuts out. But it requires also talking a little bit about like psychology and talking about like conspiracy theories if you really want to go down that route. Also, Primal Space did a good video about why it cuts out, so I don't want to make it like the same as that. But I have some answers to some things that I think would be enlightening for people. Yeah, like why don't they just use a drone to videotape the landings on the drone ship? Yeah, I've got some ideas, so I don't know. Maybe I won't go with the do they fake their landings thing. But what I was going to do is I was going to take, conclusive evidence of, I got like 20 videos from the public that people gave me permission to use, and I was going to line them all up and be like, so you're telling me that hundreds of people faked the same thing on their phones at the exact same time? Like, that was going to be proof that they land boosters, right? Because we have 20 different vantage points, 20 different individuals, literally just people on the internet, like random people, tourists and stuff like that. It would be cool to see them all lined up and be like, yeah, are you telling me that each one of these videos was faked and then somehow, conspired? But I don't know. I think, yeah. That's, yeah. Okay, so that's that. Yeah, this is ongoing. Face palms canceled is also ongoing. Why SpaceX's Raptor engine was considered impossible. This will be my opportunity to kind of talk about, like, comparing Raptor to Merlin and also comparing it to, like, another methane engine. So comparing it to, I'd compare it to Blue Origin's BE3 or BE4. I'd also probably compare it to the RS-25. And then I'd probably also compare it to, like, the RD-180. And maybe the RD-270, but that never really flew. So I don't know if it's even worth doing that much. And there's not a ton of info on it either. Yeah. How much do rockets pollute? I want to talk about, that's a question I get all the time. Like, how green if Elon Musk is so green, why do his rockets pollute all the time? Like, isn't that in direct contrast to Tesla, who is all about green, and yet you have these rockets polluting a lot? So I want to talk about the total global impact of rocket launches, including landing or discarding boosters. Like, what happens when you just let a booster fall into the ocean? What's that look like? That's all been studied. It'll be a hard one because I don't know any of that stuff, so I'll have to find someone that knows. And then I was going to do, literally, this was like one of those, like for me, the Gemini one was easy. That one took me like 3 or 4 days to shoot and edit and get out. Corona satellites was going to be another one. It's like how the early days of spy satellites happened. Literally yesterday, I was thinking that'd be a nice, easy one for me to do here, like after DM1 or something. Just a quick, simple one. Literally yesterday, I saw that Curious Droid did exactly that video. So, whoops. Yeah, I agree. I don't think I want to feed the trolls. So I do want to cover like the landing attempts and all that stuff and like talk about that stuff. But yeah, let's see. Everyone, let me know like what you think should be next. And what was I gonna? Oh yeah. Do you guys think it's worth me talking about like why the camera feed shuts off, even though like Primal Space did a really good video on it? Is it worth me doing that one if there's already a good video out on it? I do have some other things. I do want to do the Raptor engine one because I do want to get into. I want to know more about like full flow closed cycle. Yeah, polluting rockets is an interesting one. I think that's more of a general public one. Like the space flight community probably doesn't care as much, but the general public might. So it might be an opportunity to like as an outreach kind of thing. I think that's an interesting idea. Let's see. I was going to ask you guys. What was it about? Yeah, are you guys, in general, are you guys happy with me doing a lot longer form content? Like, the 30-minute video was a pain in the butt. But yeah, let's see. A lot of people want Raptor. Something with Starship, Super Heavy, Mars Infrastructure. Yeah, Milos, that's on my list. I do have one that's like, how long basically, what will it take to get to Mars? I think that'd be a good one. We can talk and look at like upcoming systems, proposals, blah, blah, blah. What's keeping us from getting to Mars, what we have to do before we can get to Mars. I think that's a fun one. It'll be less factual and more opinionated because so much of that stuff is in flux. Do I talk to other space communities or Discord on Slack channels or anything and talk about what you're planning on doing so you aren't doing the same videos? No, Seth. And this is something that is kind of stupid because like the news, how many news outlets are there? How many news outlets are there? You know, like between newspapers, blah, 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 blogs that are all covering the exact same topic. So it's so weird to me that all of a sudden we have this niche community of spaceflight. And even that, there's 20 news channels and stuff dedicated, or, you know, news blogs and websites dedicated to spaceflight that cover the exact same thing every single day. Like, literally, like, oh, an announcement comes out, let's all type up an article about the same thing. And no one thinks that's weird. Nobody's like, oh, Spaceflight Now did this, and so did NASA Spaceflight. They both talked about DM1. But yet, like, people are like, Scott Manley already talked about the Raptor engine. You can't do that. But, like, it's like, we talk about things super differently. Like, crazy. We have so different takes on the same topic. I just think it's really weird that we have this, like, mindset, like, well, I mean, and I have that too. I'm saying that I do fall into this exact same fallacy of, like, Curious Droid did a Corona satellite. Scott Manley's already done Raptor engines. I can't do that. But it's like, wait. I'll do my own research. Like, I'll sit there and start at page 1. So I'll probably end up with a totally different video. But yeah. Let's see here. Moon or Mars would be great. Yeah, I do like the topic of just straight up Moon or Mars. I think that's always a fun one. Where should we go to next? Moon or Mars? That's, yeah, Jason, the space junk one. I think that's a really compelling one coming up. It would be just like, will space junk leave us stranded here on Earth? And I'm a little more optimistic about space junk than other people. It looks really grim, but the reality of, like, the data is like, yeah, we need to consider it. Just like it's similar to, like, global warming. Like, if we're not paying attention to climate change and we're not starting to address it, like, we could totally be screwed. And actually, we need to be, in my opinion, we need to be pretty aggressive about it. But it's kind of the same. We're not to that like tipping point in space junk yet. But it's like we do need to pay attention and start doing things to alleviate and address it. But it's not like we're screwed. Look at this. There's no way we're ever going to space anymore. Let's see. Come to a topic from a different point of view. That's unique. You're right. Stuff like me using not a flamethrower, like that's for social media. That's why follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. That's the perfect use of those mediums. It'd be very wasteful for me to put one or any effort into producing a video for YouTube of me going, pfft. I mean, maybe I'll use it in a video if it like makes sense to. But at the same time, like as someone that I still watch YouTube videos, like that's what I do on lunch. That's kind of what I watch before bed, or just like YouTube videos. When I see a creator do something super off tangent, like they're, I don't know, they cook or something, and all of a sudden they're like, yeah, I bought a mirror. I'm going to look at this mirror now. Like, no, I want you to cook. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like if I did a video about me using the boring flamethrower, which there's a million videos of people using the boring flamethrower, people would just be like, what are you doing? At least that's the way I feel. Let's see. How about casual interviews with some experts on topics you research for your videos? Production would be relatively easy. Yeah, Ben, that I definitely do. I do think I want to do some more interviews this year. I do not have an interview lined up with Elon. I keep I keep wanting that to happen, and I do honestly think I'm on a path to having that happen within like the next couple years. Like I think I'm aligning myself to be in a place, at least on a professional level, that will facilitate it being appropriate for me to interview Elon. But let's see. Future space station. Ooh, I like that idea. That's a good one. Ablative coating versus silica tile test, and even like sweating heat shield would be pretty sweet. Yeah, that would actually be pretty sweet. I don't know how I'd really do that, but that is actually the perfect use of not a flamethrower. That is absolutely ideal. Jared, I agree that if MKBHD could get an interview with him, so could I. But don't forget also, MKBHD has literally 32 times the number of followers that I do. So he has a lot more influence, like way more influence than me. So it's much more worth Elon's time knowing that that video will be seen by millions of people versus 100,000 people or 200,000 people or whatever the number would be with me. So, that's the same reason why like 2020 is still going to be able to lock down interviews with Elon, because the reach is very, very large. So, and there are a lot of interesting people who aren't Elon. Yes, I've been working on Tori Bruno. Dylan, any suggestions on what to ask him? I've had some good questions for him, but I don't know if I'd even want to ask him these questions without like getting to know him a little bit better and making sure that he understands that like I'm appreciative of him and that I respect what he does and the decisions he makes. Because ULA, guys, in my opinion, is in kind of a funny situation because they are in between two other private companies that are both in space flight still. Boeing and ULA still do Boeing and Lockheed Martin still do their own space ventures big time. And they kind of have this weird like child that kind of was forced upon them with ULA. So it's almost not in the best interest of ULA to compete with like SpaceX and stuff. I think right now at this point in time, like both Boeing and both Lockheed Martin would each rather like do their own thing and like step away. So I feel like his hands are kind of tied. Like I don't think the parent companies really want ULA to compete. I think they want them to keep doing what they're doing, keep making them money, but I don't think they actually want them to really, 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 Seth, you have the Deer Moon live stream in my head. Hey Elon, Tim Dowd the everyday astronaut here. I think that's how I've done it every time. Like, 'cause I've asked him press conference things, and it's always, hey Elon, Tim Dowd the everyday astronaut here. Like, I feel like that's just kind of a funny way to do it. And by the way, hopefully I'll be able to get into the press event post DM1. I'm almost positive Elon will be there. So hopefully I can ask a good question. I think the number one thing that I want to know right now, if it doesn't get asked, is like, what have they learned about refurbishment from Block 5? Did they make any changes to the grid fins for Block 5 and the pump? And like, how does that work with the certification process? What have they learned from refurbishing Dragon capsule splashdown versus Dragon 2? Like, what things did they add or change to make refurbishment hopefully better and easier? Just some, like, I've got things like that. Yeah, I would love to interview Buzz. I think Gwen would be a great interview. The only problem with Gwen Shotwell, or like Hans, both of them would be amazing. The only problem is they're going to have a very small little box about what they're allowed to talk about, right? They're going to follow the comms teams and have like very straight-faced answered things about things that like they know they just have a hard wall they can't talk about. Elon, on the other hand, Elon will answer anything he feels like he remotely can answer, and I love that. So that's definitely the difference. Like I think Gwen, I would talk to Gwen very differently, and Hans very differently than I would Elon. Elon, I'd want to dig into like the technical stuff because he's the only one that will answer that for us. Gwen, on the other hand, would be more about like business operations, about like I think her as a person is actually more of a fascinating interview than Elon. Elon, the reason I'd want to talk to Elon is about hardware. And it's about like getting into that development process. Gwen, on the other hand, it's almost more like I want to know more about Gwen Shotwell as a person because she's amazing, than I do Elon, because there's plenty of that stuff. Let's see. Really go fully in for ULA. You've already said you'd be scared to fly to space, but still you qualify as an artist, music, photography. You might be instrumental to that Dear Moon flight. Yeah, but think about how many better photographers, better musicians, better science communicators there are than me. I do those things, but I'm not like there's so many better photographers than me, so many way better musicians than me. Like like we're talking about, like you realize that the videographer he brought was the director of First Man, like a world famous director. He's not going to ask some YouTuber from Iowa compared, oh, you're an artist, come here. Like, I've never sold art hardly, you know what I mean? Like, in the world of art, definitely not an artist. In the world of music, definitely not a musician. Like, yeah, I do those things, but that's not like, he'd be stupid to be like, hey, you play an instrument? Come here. Like, in my head, that's what it's like. I would like to talk Buzz would be great. Let's see. Sorry, I don't know how to spell it or say your name, pronounce it. Julian Hubert. You know what though? Why wouldn't he? First off, Elon has a personal life. He can do whatever he wants, period. Like 100%. He's not beholden to anyone to do whatever he wants in his free time. So if he wants to hang out with his friend that makes Rick and Morty, laugh at some funny stuff and have people film it for 5 minutes, like like no brainer. The other part is PewDiePie has 85 million subscribers. So as far as like expanding that cult of personality that is Elon Musk, and as far as like really think about how many people now, like kids that probably didn't know who Elon Musk was, once PewDiePie put out like that bounty on him to be like, hey, we got to get Elon Musk on Meme Review. Once he started doing that, think about how many kids and like people that follow PewDiePie went and followed Elon Musk and are now paying attention to Elon Musk that were not. I should probably look up, let's see if we can do this. Social Blade, let's look up Elon's Twitter and see if there's a direct correlation between the hang on. Okay, so let's okay, guys, this is insane. Check this out. This is why Elon does stuff like this. Okay, so the bounty and the war between come on. Let me show you this. Okay, so this is a website called Social Blade. You can look up anyone's like social media statistics, all that stuff, right? Let me go like this, so you can see this. This is PewDiePie's channel. This is when T-Series caught up to him, and when the war between T-Series, who's a music YouTube channel in India. So it's actually, currently they're literally back and forth. Look at that. Right now at this exact moment, it looks like PewDiePie is ahead, and it just goes back and forth all the time. But this is the moment that T-Series caught up to PewDiePie, and the war has begun. And somewhere around here, I'm guessing, is when PewDiePie started saying, like, we want Elon Musk to do meme reviews. So let's see. Let's look at these dates. So around 10/20 last year and December 1st or so, one of those two, there's two big bumps. So let's look at Elon's Twitter growth and see when he got large spikes. Okay, this was Falcon Heavy. October 20th. Weird. So look at that. Elon on October 20th gained 74,000 followers on Twitter, probably because PewDiePie put out a bounty to get Elon Musk on meme review. That's why. So if you guys are like, I can't believe Elon didn't do an interview with Tim Dodd, the everyday astronaut who has the teeniest bit of influence right now. Yeah, yes, I would be able to hold a great conversation with him about spaceflight. But as far as growing, this would be way more of a favor to me than it would be to him. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think he's just in the zone right now of going out and handing small influencers and science communicators huge chunks of his time, because it would be at minimum an hour or two, right? An hour or two of Elon Musk's time. Think about what that financially is worth. So, yeah. There you go. So that's my stance on that stuff. So he does not owe me an interview at all. It's only if like he thinks it'd be worth it. If he thinks it'd be a good public move for him to be able to talk and nerd out over, talk and nerd out all about, space stuff and be put in a good light by his interviewee, which I think I would be able to do that. That's about the only thing worth it to him. So I'm hoping maybe the deal is he did say he'll do a press event after the hopper starts flying. So hopefully, if all goes well, it's honestly seeming like April might be reasonable that thing starts hopping around. And if it does that, he'll probably do a press event soon after that. So maybe late April, early May or something like that. Maybe then when he announces that he'll do that, and he's already in that zone of like explaining things, maybe that's when we could bug him of like, hey, now after the press event, can you sit down with Tim Dodd and talk about it? That's maybe a good time, because then it's like, oh, we can dive into some of these things that everyone's asking about, or some of these things that just came out that you're talking about, and we can really just look at it as a whole. So if I think to me that makes more sense than just blanket asking him for an interview. It's not a good time right now. Like right now we're in between a lot of things. He's working on, once the Raptor's flying on Star Hopper, and once he has his talking points for Starship, and more of that process frozen, that design frozen, I think then he'd be a lot more able to to sit down. So that's my opinion on it. It's true. I do think so. Maybe let's make that the bounty, is that once Starship, once he does that thing, just be like, hey, after the thing, can you do an interview with Tim Dodd? There we go. His time is worth approximately $900,000 per hour. Kickstarter, I like that idea. We raise $1 million and pay him $1 million. No, that would be absurd. Let's see. Oh, what did I miss? Just gonna make sure. Yeah. So, guys, we are at my cutoff here. I want to make sure I dedicate some additional time to my commanders. Don't stress out if you're not a commander, because I do this once a month. I'm trying to really get better about doing it once a month, like where it's not just me dinking around or something, where I can actually answer your guys' questions. But we have some stuff to talk about in the Commanders Lounge. Commanders, I already put a live stream thing in there. I'm going to take like a quick quick little break. Get ready for that stream here in a minute. Also, guys, quick reminder. This is going to be nuts. DM1, I'm doing a lot of things. Nothing special for DM1. I do have something special coming up that I'll talk a little bit about with with my commanders. They're going to get the smallest little clue. But don't expect anything crazy from DM1 other than hopefully an awesome product. Like, hopefully I bring you guys the best live stream that's ever been at the Cape. I think DOS does a great job, by the way. But I like being able to actually have, like, I'm going to have the stream pulled up, the SpaceX one. Like, so hopefully it's a better version of the SpaceX live stream, and you'll be able to go there, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, so expect that. I'll try to do a few, like, Patreon live streams even. Be sure you guys are following on Twitter and Instagram, because I'm pretty active on social media during these things. It's an easy time to kind of do that stuff, and those are it takes me, like, I have to be in the right place, the right time and stuff to do a live stream. So live streams are more of a commitment than, just popping down a video that you took, 25 minutes ago, and in between point A and point B, I can be like, all right, or whatever, while I'm on a bus or something, and get something out. So it's a lot easier for me to post things on Twitter and Instagram. So make sure you follow me on there. Yeah, I think, yeah. Seth, I will be doing a Patreon meetup for sure Friday night. So plan on that Friday night. I will, I'll post that in Patreon soon, just so people can plan around it. And other than that, I'll maybe do, what I might do, and since you guys are all patrons, I'll let you in on this, but, when I do Patreon and public meetups, I'm thinking the smartest move would be Patreon only, like next door or nearby, really close to the public meetup, but I'll just do like dinner with patrons. So it's a smaller table so people can actually talk. We can all get to know each other better, and I can actually know one-on-one the people that support me, and hear from them what's important to them. I did that out in Denver, and it was awesome. Like, I hung out for a couple hours with a lot of really cool people from the area. So yeah, so I'll do that for patrons. Make sure I have plenty of time set aside, and then schedule time, like, 2 or 3 hours or whatever, at like next door or something for the public meetup, so that we can just kind of walk over or something. But yeah, so we'll see. I'm gonna get ready for this other live stream. Yeah, I'll hit Denver again. I feel like I'm out there all the time. So, all right, thank you guys so much. I can't wait to bring you guys an awesome live stream from DM1. It's going to be a good flight. I'm a little bit bummed it's night, honestly. Like, if it had been day, I don't know. I just like day launches better. Although I don't have any, I've never seen a Falcon 9 at night, and I've only ever done one streak shot. So this might be a fun opportunity to do another streak shot. So let's wish for the best. So, all right, guys, take it easy, Commanders. Check the Commanders Lounge or Patreon for the link for the Commander live stream in Patreon. And yeah, we'll see you in give me 5 minutes. Let me just kind of reset here for a second. So thank you guys so much. Wish me best of luck this week. And then, like I said, unless you guys think it's a really dumb idea for me to try to get everyone to ask Elon for an interview after that thing, let me know. But I think that's a fair time to do it. Like, hey, you announced this thing. Now talk to Tim about it. That's how you do it. All right. We'll see you guys. That's going to do it for me. I'm Tim Dodd, that everyday astronaut, bringing space down to Earth for people. What? That was dumb. That was really bad. Bye, guys.